Sony just woke up and chose violence, or more accurately, they chose adamantium. We finally have it. The news we have been waiting for, speculating about, and driving ourselves absolutely crazy over for years. Insomniac Games has officially announced that Marvel's Wolverine is launching on PlayStation 5 on September 15th. So just let that sink in for just a quick, awesome second. September 15th. We are officially on the clock for one of the most anticipated superhero games of this console generation. But before we talk about the game itself, we have to talk about how they announced this. Because honestly, it is the most hilarious flex move I've seen from a gaming publisher in a very long time. If you remember, Sony literally just had a state of play a few weeks ago. The entire internet was sitting there, popcorn in hand, waiting for that iconic yellow and black logo to slash across the screen. And what did we get? Nothing. Radio silence. People were losing their minds. There were conspiracy theories that the game was delayed, that development maybe was struggling, that Sony was holding it back. And then on a completely random Tuesday morning, Insomniac just casually drops a 6-second teaser on social media. Marvel's Wolverine launches September 15th. That is it. No massive orchestra playing in a rented out auditorium. No Jeff Keighley dramatically pausing before pointing to a screen. Just a tweet, just a casual, oh, by the way, here's our massive multi-million-dollar flagship title. Please wishlist it. Have a nice day. You guys know I love to occasionally sprinkle in some marketing talk on this channel because the business behind the games is often just as fascinating as the games themselves. And from a marketing perspective, this random Tuesday drop is actually a masterclass in audience manipulation. When you drop a massive trailer at a state of play or a summer showcase, you are sharing the oxygen with 15 other games. People are talking about Wolverine, sure, but they are also talking about whatever new indie darling got announced, or the remakes, or the hardware updates. You have to fight for the timeline, but when you drop the release date of a highly anticipated AAA game on a random Tuesday at 9 a.m., you own the internet. You are the only thing being talked about on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, and every gaming blog on the planet. You have monopolized the 24-hour news cycle for $0 extra. It is incredibly confident. It screams, we don't need a grand stage to get your attention, we are the stage. And let's be real about the date itself. September 15th is not an accident. It is a highly calculated strategic retreat from the massive, looming shadow that is Grand Theft Auto 6. GTA 6 is sitting there in November like a black hole, ready to consume every single dollar of disposable income in the global economy. If you're a publisher right now, you are looking at November and you are running in the opposite direction. Sony knows exactly what they are doing. Releasing Wolverine in mid-September gives Logan a solid 2 months to breathe, sell millions of copies, and dominate the conversation before everyone, and I mean everyone, packs their bags and moves to Vice City. It is smart, it is safe, and it guarantees that Wolverine gets the undivided attention it deserves. So what are we actually getting on September 15th? Let's talk about the game because everything we know so far points to this being a massive departure from the typical formula Insomniac established with Spider-Man. Spider-Man, by the way, is fantastic. We all love swinging through New York, doing backflips, and stopping random muggings. But it is very much an open-world checklist style game. You have map markers, you have collectibles, you have a sprawling city to traverse. Wolverine is not that exactly. Everything Insomniac has told us and everything the industry insiders have echoed points to this being a heavily narrative-driven linear action-adventure game. Thank goodness, we are living in an era of open-world fatigue. Not every single video game needs to be a 150-hour sprawling epic where I have to craft my own boots out of badger pelts and collect 400 glowing feathers to unlock a slightly different colored jacket. Sometimes you just want a tight, meticulously crafted 15 to 20 hour experience. Think about the old school God of War games or the newer linear-focused titles. That is the vibe I want for Wolverine. I want to be put in a hallway, told that the people at the other end are bad, and be left off a leash. And speaking of being let off a leash, let's talk about the tone. Insomniac has confirmed time and time again that this game is going to be mature. It is going to be M-rated. This is not the sanitized Saturday morning cartoon version of Logan. This is the guy who leaves a room looking like a Jackson Pollock painting. You cannot make a game about a man with razor-sharp metal claws attached to his skeleton and have him just knocking people out. It does not work. They need to lean into the visceral, heavy, brutal combat that makes Wolverine who he is. We want to feel the weight of the adamantium. We want to feel the impact. If the combat loop is just pressing square to punch and triangle to dodge, it's going to fall flat. We need depth, we need aggression, and we need a combat system that rewards you for playing like an absolute berserker. We also have to give a massive shout out to the development team at Insomniac. It is no secret that they went through absolute hell a couple of years ago with the massive data breach. Having your hard work, your early builds, and your personal information dragged out into the public eye is devastating. A lot of studios would have folded under that pressure, or at the very least suffered massive delays. But Insomniac just kept their heads down. They rallied, they stayed focused, and here we are, looking at a firm September 15th release date. It is a testament to the culture at that studio and the pure talent of the developers. They deserve a massive victory lap when this game drops. Now, real quick, taking a brief pause from the Adamantium hype train, I wanted to give you guys a quick life update because it's been a minute and you all know I like to keep things transparent on the channel. First of all, a massive thank you to everyone who has been dropping comments and sharing the recent videos. The growth over the last few months has been insane, and it is entirely because of this community. We are building something really cool here, something I think is really cool. A place where we can geek out over games, critically analyze the industry, and not take ourselves too seriously in the process. On a personal note, I'm just currently trying to survive the weird seasonal transition right now. I don't know what the weather is doing where you guys are, but down here in Utah, Mother Nature is currently having an identity crisis. It's freezing one minute, sunny the next, and my allergies are treating my sinuses like a heavy bag. But the grind does not stop. I've been working on restructuring my own workflow lately, trying to find that perfect balance between staying on top of the daily news cycles and having a life outside of this glowing rectangle. Content creation is a weird beast. You feel this constant pressure to be on all the time to react to every single piece of news the second it drops. But I've realized that what you guys value most isn't necessarily being the first to report the news, but offering the best perspective on it. So that's my goal moving forward. Less rushing, more analyzing, more deep dives into why things are happening in the industry, not just what is happening. So thank you, as always, for rolling with me and supporting the vision. All right, bringing it back to PlayStation, let's look at the bigger picture here, because September 15th isn't just a big day for Insomniac, it is a critical day for Sony. The PlayStation 5 generation has been a wild ride. We've had some incredible highs, but we've also had these long stretches of silence where the first-party pipeline looked a little dry. Sony has been resting a lot of its weight on its legacy franchises, and while that works, the ecosystem needs a massive shot of adrenaline. Marvel's Wolverine is that adrenaline. This is the system seller. This is the game that is going to make people who have been holding out on upgrading finally bite the bullet and buy a PS5. It also sets up what might be one of the most insane fall gaming lineups we have ever seen. You kick things off in September with Wolverine. You set the bar incredibly high for narrative action. And then a few weeks later, the industry holds its breath as Grand Theft Auto 6 rolls into town to break every entertainment record known to man. If you're a gamer, you need to start saving your money right now. Cancel your subscriptions, stop buying expensive coffee, tell your family you won't be seeing them from September through December. We are about to eat very, very well. The biggest question I have right now is when we are actually going to see raw, uncut gameplay. The 6-second teaser was cool for the hype, but we need to see the HUD. We need to see the skill trees. We need to see Logan in motion. There are heavy rumors that Sony is planning a dedicated showcase in late May. If I were a betting man, I would put all my chips on Wolverine being the centerpiece of that show. They'll give us a 10-minute deep dive, show off a boss fight, maybe Sabretooth, maybe Omega Red, and then ride that wave of momentum straight through the summer and into the September launch. But I want to turn it over to you guys. What is your hype level for Marvel's Wolverine on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you glad they're ditching the open world formula for a more linear, focused experience? And do you think releasing in September is enough distance to survive the gravitational pull that is Grand Theft Auto 6? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. I will be hanging out down there reading and replying to as many as I can. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button. It genuinely helps push the channel out to more people in the algorithm. Subscribe if you're new and want to keep up to date on all things gaming, marketing, and the occasional rant about the weather. I'm Cyler. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.